preference, and also it is a primary anchor for building a brand credibility. A product with packaging differentiation basically gets a chance to cut the retail noise and attract the eye of the shopper. So with that, I start the first question to Sanjay of Diageo. So Sanjay, how important is packaging in shaping a consumer's first impression and influencing the purchase decision in a very crowded marketplace?
For the conversation. So, as you said, packaging is a silent salesman, and packaging is also the first handshake uh, of a consumer with the product, right? And it's also, as they call it, the first or a zero moment of truth, right? Which actually gets the consumer closer to the pack when you are in a typical shopping aisle, right? So, they also say that you, in many times, in most of the times, you are not consuming a product, you are actually consuming a label. It's basically the packaging that brings a consumer closer, and then eventually the product keeps it loyal, right? So packaging, I think, is the first touch point for the consumer to start liking the product.
Yeah, so rightly said, Sanjay. So Kunal, you being from consumer preference.
So, sir, I'd like to answer this question from a consumer angle, because we might be brand owners, but we are consumer at the same time. So, the first basic human thing is, once you enter the store and you look at the product, you have the study says, the NIQ study says that the person has decides between 13 seconds whether to lift that product or not. What do you look in those 13 seconds? A normal consumer or a not so educated consumer would see that they find that trust in the packet, whether it has been packed properly, whether it looks good, is it worth the value that I'm going to spend on that packet. So these are the common things, and whether the product that I will eat inside is safe for me or not. So these are few couple things that the customer sees immediately, and obviously once the product is once the packaging.
Thanks for your question, Somnath. Very pertinent indeed. Good evening, everyone. So, innovation has done a lot of wonders, and it's a boon for the human mankind, and so does structural innovation for packaging. I've been a student of packaging for last many years, and I can comfortably categorize into three major types. The first one happens to be the unique physical form. The second one happens to be the functionality, and of course, the third one is user experience. Now, I'll take a few seconds to take some of the ways to improve the structural innovation. Let's talk about the distinctive shape and design. Very basic. When I talk about distinctive shape, it has got to do with the stand-up pouches, 3Ds. And to save time and my words, I can simply take the example of paperboard. It stands out in the shelf, attracts the customers, invites kids to play and consume.
Uh, Structural innovation is one of the key pillar to drive the FMOT of any pack, and also to create the differentiation on the shelf. Today, if you see on the shelf for any category, if you refer, it is cluttered with so many products, so many competitive products, which are quite similar when you talk about the ingredients or you talk about the product propositions. But definitely, the structural innovation is one thing which helps us to differentiate. Now, when I talk about the structural innovation, it is for me, it is not only limited to the 3D pack or the shape of the pack, because just for the sake of creating the new shape, we should not talk about a structural. It is more holistic, which also includes basically like the convenience of holding the pack, convenience of opening, dispensing, disposing. So all these factors together is a part of.
And your views on this?
Thanks. So I think premium would mean different meanings to different consumers. So we have different set of consumers, from young age consumers to slightly mature consumers. So in my view, giving the right package to the right consumer and meeting to their expectations is something which I would say premium would mean. It starts with the visual appeal of the package. So how simplicity is, given as a connotation of showing your brand. It may mean metallic finishes for young age people and subtle finishes for mature audiences. It also means to have the right finish and material selection. It means the functionality of the package as well, because end of the day.
Thanks. Thanks, Somnath. Uh, I think these days it's all about winning the consumer's trust, right? And some time back, I read this statement credited to Mr. Paul Polman, former CEO of Unilever, who said that without traceability, there is no transparency, and without transparency, there is no trust. Okay, I think it's quite as simple as that. If we can build the transparency, the consumer's trust would be won. It's a matter of time, in my view, and I say that as a consumer, really, not as a solution provider or a packaging material provider. So the important thing is now what is connected packaging. Now we live in days of technology. Every one of us has a smartphone, and connected packaging is enabling the brand to reach out directly to the consumer.
Opportunities. So one of the major challenges that we faced in collection is how do we collect enough material of flexibles? Because typically when a rag picker is going today to collect flexibles, the cost per bend of a rag picker when he collects a rigid container versus collecting a flexible is almost 30 to 50 times more for the same amount of output. So at this point, collection becomes the tricky part. The second biggest problem comes for design for recycling, where we find that pouches are of very different categories depending on different brands. So some will use a mono material packaging, some will use a multi-layer packaging, some will add one layer of a metallized or another. So today, luckily, we are coming in this civilization where AI is coming in, where segregation, automated AI, ML segregation is possible. But definitely the amount of effort taken is very high for the amount of pricing that we are able to achieve.
To have all of you network with one another and be part of the summit today. And let's just say the evening has just begun.